So we just got a ton of information about the upcoming game Starfield in the form of a 45-minute video called Starfield Direct. Now, I don't usually follow gaming news, especially pre-release news, but this video has been unavoidable on social media for the past few days, so I thought I would talk about it a bit here and share a few thoughts I had. The first impression I had on looking at footage from this game was that it reminded me of No Man's Sky, but I can see how it will avoid a lot of the pitfalls that No Man's Sky encountered by having a very experienced development team and probably a much higher budget. It looks to me like the handcrafted quests scattered through a very large galaxy to explore will make for a very exciting and engaging game. I'll probably play this game when it comes out, especially if I can run it on my computer. Personally, I'm a bit of a sucker for sort of planet-wide design, and I thought the planets in this game, especially when viewed from space, are extremely beautiful. There was one moment in the direct where they show an ice planet with a little bit of ocean around its equator, and I just thought that was a really beautiful design. And just looked really nice. And so maybe I would play the game just to go around and stare at all the planet designs. I do that in Endless Space too. I don't really focus on the strategy. I just go around and stare at the planets in the different solar systems till the AI kills me off. However, there was one phrase that they use in the direct that I just thought was a little strange and that didn't really seem to fit with the style of the game. One of the developers refers to the game as having a NASA punk aesthetic. Yes, the designs of NASA are iconic, such as the Space Shuttle, the Hubble Space Telescope, and the Moon Lander. So at first glance, a game claiming to have taken inspiration from this sounds like a great idea. So what is NASA punk? Well, clearly it's a term designed to evoke the idea of steampunk or cyberpunk. In the direct, they describe NASA punk as grounded science-based design with a little bit of extra flair on top of it. However, in my opinion, this sort of terminology is just a little bit generic. I mean, 90% of sci-fi is something grounded in science with a little bit of extra flair on top of it. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Now, the designs maybe evoke NASA in some way with that little bit of extra flair, as they say, but I think on a deeper level, the game seems to be missing the point of NASA. Obviously, a major AAA expensive game is going to have first-person shooter mechanics or some kind of combat mechanics. That's just how large AAA games work. But NASA is generally not a military organization. You can debate the origins of NASA as part of a post-World War II Cold War, but certainly NASA astronauts are more bringers of peace and international cooperation than guys on the moon wandering around with machine guns. If I had to add some media to the NASA punk genre, which I still think is too generic of a term which could almost describe any sci-fi film set in space in the near future, I would add The Martian and Ad Astra, which are both relatively grounded films that have more of a scientific sort of arc to them. There may be some combat and action. I believe Ad Astra does have at least one or two gunfights. There is a focus on the scientific exploration and discovery. I also felt while the interiors of the spaceship seemed to nail that sort of kind of NASA design look, I felt like the outsides of the spaceships didn't really look like anything that NASA would come up with. And perhaps that's just due to the limitations of technology that NASA has at their disposal. But I felt like maybe they should have done spaceships in a little bit more of a grounded style on the outside. I guess with the NASA aesthetic, I'm so used to seeing rockets that launch vertically and sort of the space shuttle, that's an iconic design. Lots more, solar panels. These ships, I guess, are designed in a sci-fi future where there's a lot more technology. It's interesting that on the inside, they sort of make the technology retro. And I would actually like to see that on the exterior of the spaceships as well. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'm going to have a longer, more polished and scripted video out soon, but I just wanted to share some thoughts on this particular game. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.